Are people going to give Shakur Stevenson the credit he deserves? He went out there and he didn't run. This was no Tom and Jerry type fight. He wasn't moving all over the ring doing his best to avoid any kind of conflict or exchange. For the most part, the man was right in front of Zepeda. For the most part, the man was right there. A lot of people didn't expect that. A lot of people didn't expect that he was going to come out there and fight like that. But he stayed right in front of that dude, and the amount of composure that you need to do that, just the mental fortitude to be in front of somebody that you know wants to go in there and rattle off 1,000 punches on you. The fact that he purposefully took times when he blacked himself up and put himself up against the ropes. And you know what? The defensive movements, the technique was beautiful. Okay, there was a lot of people oohing and on about all of these punches that Zepeda was throwing. Go back and watch the tape, man. Go back and watch the tape and look at the way that Shakur Stevenson was utilizing the shoulder roll. Look at the way that he was catching and parrying some of those shots, using his elbow, using his shoulders, the way that he was rolling them off, the way that he was leaning back, letting things come and glance off. Zepeda would come in there and rattle off 7 or 8 punches, man, and maybe one would hit. Even when we look at when Shakur got stumbled against the ropes in the 3rd round, I would make the argument that he wasn't hurt. That was an off-balance type shot. Now, look, I'm not trying to knock Zepeda by any means, right? He went out there and he did what he did. He was able to fight his fight in a lot of ways. The man's just not as good of a fighter. Okay? It is what it is. You turn around and you look at that fight, and I got to give Shakur, what, 8 rounds? 8 rounds he won on that one. 9 rounds maybe, depending on how you want to look at it. I mean, it wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I also don't think it was, neck and neck going into the 12th round or anything like that. I think Shakur went in there and he proved who he was. He didn't blow the man out, but he won. He won convincingly. He won not only the majority of rounds, but he won, in the sense of 8 rounds, but he went out there and he won his rounds convincingly. Okay, when we left, I don't feel like anybody should have been looking and being like, oh, we need to see a rematch because it was so close and that was a robbery and Zepeda did this and bad. No, there was a lot of people who had a lot of bad things to say about Shakur Stevenson for a long time. And at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is they don't appreciate his fighting style. And that's fine because it's art. And anytime we're talking about art, it's subjective. So you can like it, I can hate it, I can love it, you can't stand it. That's cool. Nobody can tell you what you need to like. Nobody can tell me that I have to like something, that you can't like something. Oh, that's not the way art works, right? When we're talking about music or painting or cars or whether we're watching fighters, you're going to like what you like. Nevertheless, what people can't deny is just how good of a fighter that man is. Whether or not you like it is a different story. Whether or not you appreciate it is a different story. But we know what the rules of the game are, and we know that this man goes out there and executes at an incredibly high level. Now, all that being said, I feel like he went out there and used this opportunity to shut the haters and shut the non-believers down just a little bit more. Because, again, people are always criticizing him for his movement and the way that he runs, and he's not being exciting and he's not doing this. Okay, so maybe he wasn't exciting in the way that a lot of people try to quantify exciting. But he didn't run either. He was right there. He wasn't being evasive and trying to avoid the contact and the exchanges. He was rattling off good punches of his own. He was landing solid shots. He took a guy like Zepeda, who everybody said we need to see this type of thing. We need to see him in there. We need to see him against a guy who's going to apply pressure and volume and won't stop. And, he's got some pop behind those punches and he's going to make you fight and he's not going to let you quit. He's going to be in your face all the time. Okay. Now what? So my hat's off to the man. I believed in him going into this one. One of the things that I said in the preview for this fight was that Vegas doesn't always get it right. When you look at the lines, Vegas does not always get it right. In this one, they did. They had Shakur Stevenson as a significant favorite going into this fight. I said that he was going to win. He was going to win convincingly. Styles make fights, right? So we knew going off of this one that we were going to have a man who was going to come forward with high volume, and we had a man who was a sniper, a defensive wizard who was very technical, who knew how to pick his spots with a high ring IQ. And I said that that was going to play out the way that it did. I said that Shakur was, because this guy, Zepeda's high volume and pressure, you know where he is, you know what he's doing. Every single time he throws a punch, he's going to leave a pocket or an opening to be exploited. Shakur smart enough to be able to pick those pockets and those spots and decide where he wants to go. It's what he did. He came out victorious. So let me know what you guys think. Were you as impressed with this victory as I was? Because I thought it was going to happen. Nevertheless, actually going out there and seeing him do it. Right? Look at the way that he executed the shoulder roll. And we are in a time, in an era when a lot of people, number one, they associate that with Floyd, but they associate that with being a defensive wizard and executing at the highest level and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of dudes don't know what they're doing, man. A lot of dudes go out there and try to use that shoulder roll. They get crushed with the right hand. They don't understand angles and how to get behind the shoulder and how to tuck their chin the right way, what distance to use it at and everything. Not Shakur, man. Shakur went out there and executed it beautifully. Let me know what you guys think.